Hi, everybody. Meteorologist Joe Cioffi here. Weather in 5 days in 5 minutes. And there it is, the Weather Service's snow forecast for tomorrow into Thursday. We'll go over that in just a second. Weather in 5 brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware of West Babylon, 1226 North Wellwood Avenue, just to the north of the Southern State Parkway, 631-756-1125. Now is the time if you need items to get you through the upcoming winter storm, and you're shopping a local business, which is a big deal these days. Omni True Value Hardware is the place to go. You can get your salt, your rock salt, Omni Melt, Petalo, Mag Ice pellets and flakes. You've got shovels in case you have to replace your old shovels, if you have to replace your old snow blower, and even a generator just in case something were to happen with your power. So just head to Omni True Value Hardware of West Babylon, 631-756-1125. So let's get the snow map here and take a look. These are the Weather Service numbers with regards to snowfall forecast. They raised them a little bit. You can see the Long Island numbers. Once you go west of Riverhead, you start to get into some double-digit numbers, and also away from the South Shore, south of Sunrise Highway, for example, snow amounts are going to be lighter. Now let's move across northern New Jersey. Amounts go way up in northwest New Jersey and into eastern Pennsylvania, in and around Allentown, up to just south of Scranton, and then down south over to Reading. That looks like where the quote-unquote jackpot zone is going to be. Philadelphia is on the border. They're either going to get 6 plus, or if they're going to finish underneath at that 6-inch line, probably runs very close up to the New Jersey Turnpike, and then up the Turnpike toward New York City, and north and west of there, the amounts go up. South Central, Southeastern Pennsylvania, over a foot there. Also through much of Maryland, north and west of Baltimore and Washington, D.C. Now, my numbers are actually just a bit lower than that, because I'm still a little bit concerned with some mixing issues that might occur, particularly over Long Island and maybe even into coastal southern Connecticut. But here's the Weather Prediction Center's probability. I brought up the probability of at least 8 inches, and you can see the light blue line. Before you get into the darker blue, that light blue line it marks the zone of a 50% chance. That's a very high number, 50% chance of at least 8 inches of snow. And you see it cuts across the North Shore of Long Island into southern Connecticut, also cuts across down southeast Pennsylvania, and then on up to just north of Baltimore and Washington. And if you want to see the probability of at least a foot, you can see how that lines up. And the New York City to about Allentown, or just south of Allentown, actually, between Allentown and Philadelphia, and then south and west of there through Lancaster. We're talking about the probability of at least the possibility of a foot at a 50%, 40 to 50% or higher. That is also a relatively high number. You don't see numbers like that too often. Now, I'm probably a little bit too high here. This was my early call snow forecast map that I did for my subscribers on my Patreon platform 2 days ago. I usually, when I do early calls, I don't really change them until a final call is made, which I'm going to do this evening. So I would say, based on what I've been looking at, I would probably push up that 0 line a little further to the north, maybe push up that 4-inch line north of Washington, D.C., and the 6-inch line north of Baltimore. The rest of it, I think, looks okay. Maybe beef up the numbers a little bit back in western Maryland around Hagerstown, Martinsburg, and then down into Virginia near Winchester and points south and west towards Harrisonburg. That's going to be the area that'll be in a foot plus. And then as we head a little bit further to the north, issues in coastal New Jersey for sure. Much of Ocean County, southward, south of 195 mainly, will probably start off as rain, and then you'll have to wait and see if you get it. You should get a change back to snow overnight, Wednesday night into Thursday morning. And you see the amounts tail off considerably. I'm here too. I might push that 4-inch line a little bit further northwest. and the 10-inch line maybe a little bit northwest, perhaps north and west of Philadelphia, and very, very close to Trenton is where I would put the boundary line. And you can see the 1 foot area that I have running northeast, southwest through southeast PA and then through south central PA. A lot of folks down here, York, Lancaster, Hanover, Harrisburg, Reading should get at least 12 out of this, and maybe even a few inches above that. I'm not very big on figuring out what the top number is. That can sometimes that's a fool's folly. Oftentimes, I think you get the idea that if I'm forecasting over a foot and somebody winds up with 18 or 19, that's just what happens. That's just the risk. Now, around northern New Jersey, New York City, my numbers on Long Island are lower, less than 6 for the east end. I've got an 8-inch line drawn from about, say, Wading River down to Babylon, and 8 to 10 as you go west of there, and then a 10-inch line northwesternmost Suffolk County around Huntington, and then that line runs southwest down through South Brooklyn, and then cuts across New Jersey from Middlesex County down to about Trenton. So let's say or Monmouth County. So let's say New Brunswick down to about Trenton. The 12-inch line running across northwest New Jersey, and then cutting east into the Hudson Valley, including northern Westchester, Putnam County in there, Rockland County, a zone of 12 plus that extends right up into western Connecticut from Danbury to Waterbury. The tough part of this forecast here is not just the mixing issues that might occur along the coast, but also we're looking at amounts going down as you go further north. Where the cutoff line is, I'm not sure. This is one of the more difficult aspects of this forecast because some models bring the snow all the way up into New Hampshire and Maine, and others start to really tail down the snow amounts due to the cold, dry air that's to the north. And that cold air, if it's really important, is going to play a role in the mixing issues along the coast, perhaps delaying or even cutting off the mixing altogether and making it mostly snow, in which case those numbers down near the coast are likely to go up. So let's just run through real quick what we think is going to happen for today. There are obviously no issues. We've got sunshine, a bit of a gusty breeze, temperatures that are going to be really not going very far at all, probably not much higher than the mid and upper 30s in most places. The warmest spots might briefly touch 40. We've got a big cold high building in, and we'll have clear skies tonight with northerly winds. By morning, we'll be in the teens to low 20s in most places. A little further south, the lows will be closer to 24 or 5. And that cold air, those 20s, are going to bleed down all the way into western North Carolina. You see tomorrow morning, freezing rain starts to develop there. Snow on the northern fringe. You've got a primary low in western Kentucky that's going to die out. The secondary and the main low that will become the main low off the South Carolina coast, that starts to move northward. The moisture begins to advect into that dry air to the north and the big high. So we're going to see snow developing over Pennsylvania. This is at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, extending down into Northern Virginia. And I'm going to switch at this point to just switch to one of the NAM models that we can go hour by hour here with what's going to happen. So this is at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, or 1800 hours Greenwich Mean Time. And there's your snow area just coming into south central and southeast PA. By 4 o'clock, it's up into central New Jersey, continuing to spread northward into northern Pennsylvania, mostly heavy snow throughout much of western and central Maryland, northern Virginia, a little sleet and freezing rain mixed in as you go south. Then we are at 5 o'clock, 6, 7 o'clock in the evening, just getting started in New York City. And you see the line going north and west. And then after this point, the snow starts to really push in faster, and we see it spreading into southern Connecticut. That dark blue zone that you're seeing on the map, that probably represents snow that is falling at rates of 2 or more inches an hour. And that's where some places are going to get in there for a couple of hours or 2 or 3 hours, and that's where you might put down the bulk of your accumulation when that band goes by, and it really fires up around 10, 11 o'clock on Wednesday night over New York City, northern New Jersey, Long Island, the Hudson Valley, moving into southwestern Connecticut, continues to push northward. And then around 1 or 2 a.m., you start to see some sleet there that shows up in the purple, and even some rain over eastern Long Island, heavy snow in Connecticut and in Rhode Island, and still some moderate to heavy snow on the backside, back through Pennsylvania. And then the low sitting just east of Atlantic City, Cape May, come 4 a.m. on Thursday, will start to pull away and redevelop to the east. The last of the snows will taper off and end, and then weather conditions will improve. The big question again is, well, a couple of them. Obviously, the mixing issues along the coast. The inland areas, I don't think are going to have too much to worry about with regards to mixing. It should be mostly snow and heavy snow. And then how far north does that get? Does it get as far north as what the NAM model does, which is to take it all the way up into Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine? Or does the cold, dry air to the north um, become so important that it basically suppresses everything to the south, and we see that the northern edge doesn't get quite as far north? That would expand and put the heavy snows further south, and as the GFS model has, for example, it suggests that mixing will be minimal along coastal areas, in which case amounts would have to go up. So there's still a lot to figure out with respect to the forecast. So here's just one last time. Here's the Weather Service's view with the snow amounts. And you can find these maps, by the way, the Weather Service forecast maps. So just go to weather.gov to your local National Weather Service office, and you can pull them down. Or if you download my free weather app, the Meteorologist Joe Cioffi weather app on Google Play or on the App Store, I have every snowfall forecast map from every National Weather Service office, including their radars from Maine all the way down to Georgia. Weather in 5, which today has turned out to be weather in 12, brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware, 1226 North Wellwood Avenue, just north of the Southern State Parkway. They have everything you need to get you through this first winter storm of the season. All the melting products, including Long Island's largest producer of rock salt, and they also service much of the New York City tri-state area. If you need new shovels, you need a new snow blower, or even if you need a new generator to keep your power going, just in case, Omni True Value Hardware is the place to go. The Joe and Joe Weather Show tonight at 7:30, we have a special guest tonight. We're going to have those of you in the New York metro area know him, and certainly for Long Island, News 12, a man who followed in my footsteps at News 12, meteorologist Bill Corbell. He's going to be joining us tonight with Mr. Rayos. It'll be two Joes and a Bill, and we will take this storm apart and figure out what's going to happen. And we've already have website posts up there. Patreon members, look for a weather in 10 later today, and a few other things with regards to the storm. And we're going to be monitoring weather models. They're going to start coming out soon. I don't expect too much change here. I think at this point, it's just a matter of resolving whether there are going to be some mixing issues, or how long will there be mixing issues along coastal areas. All right. Have a great day, folks. We'll see you later.